Atalanta have come off their best ever Serie A season. It's one of the most remarkable in recent memories, but with clubs now on the hunt for players, how does this bode for 2017-18? Hello everyone, welcome to Forza Italian Football. I'm Nick.
Connor.
And we are talking La Dea today, all about the Bergamese.
It's not good news though.
Yeah, well, let's start with on a positive note, they've qualified for Europa, which is an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
But how are they actually going to go in Europe, given that we've already seen one player leave? There looks like there might be a few to follow. Are you concerned about how they might actually, what kind of squad they're going to turn up to in Europe?
Whoever.
That's fine.
The obvious answer is yes, but I'm kind of torn because Frank Kessie's gone, Andrea Conti will go, Spinazzola will probably go, Gomez might go. There's not that much left, but this always happens. Atalanta always lose their best players, and every single time they recover. One of the things I wrote immediately after the end of the season, we might link that in the description, was about how this summer is going to be goddamn awful because everyone's going to leave, but they always recover. So it's kind of hard not to trust the club to do the same this year. Obviously, a recovery doesn't mean they're going to break records and finish fourth again, because let's not forget, they got 72 points last season.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, that would have been enough to finish second in Serie A.
Yeah.
They smashed their highest ever point tally. Other than that big three, they were the best of the rest. They finished higher than Lazio, Milan, Inter. But yeah, a recovery doesn't mean they're going to do that again. But a recovery might mean they finish mid-table. And having seen Sassuolo's struggles to cope with Europa League and Serie A this year, and you kind of see it when smaller teams get into Europe any year, really. It's going to be a struggle next year, but I don't know, with Gasperini there as well, I kind of trust that they should be able to do enough to finish higher up in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned with the smaller teams, we've seen Udinese, Torino, Sassuolo, similar kind of thing, and they've never really been able to keep that constant and fighting to Europe. Once they've got there, they've kind of just gone on a bit of a slump. So you mentioned the recovery. It doesn't necessarily mean finishing fourth again, but let's talk Serie A just for a second. What's a good result for next season, given that you will obviously have a very different looking team?
Well, on our season review podcast, we did our hopes for next season, and I half-jokingly said was for Atalanta not to get relegated. And at the moment, I still don't know what to expect next year, because as things stand, Frank Kessie's the only one who has left. Andrea Conti, his agent is acting up and refusing to join up the squad for pre-season, which is an unfortunate way to end. But until more players leave, I don't really know. Spinazzola might still be there. Alejandro Gomez might still be there. Andrea Petagna will still be there. He's pretty much said that, I think. But yeah, they've got the young players coming through, and if there's anywhere where young players come through and succeed, it's with Atalanta. But I don't really know just yet what to expect. But
how do you see Gasperini facing Europe with the fact that they might not have that depth? So you mentioned the youth. Atalanta's academy's been one of the best in Italy for quite some time, but are they at that level where they can step in and fill a Europa? Like, how are they going to approach the Europa League? Is it going to be the ultimate, and then Serie A is going to suffer as a result, or how do they manage that?
I think there can be a mix of the two. I seriously hope they don't just write off the Europa League and concentrate on Serie A, because I think a lot of fans might, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like a lot of fans would take a relegation battle if it meant going to the last 16 or quarterfinals in the Europa League, because that would be amazing. Atalanta haven't been in Europe since 1991. That's before I was born, They need to enjoy this while it lasts, and if last season's achievements can teach us anything, it's that if Gasperini has a good squad of players behind him, they can achieve the improbable. Not the impossible, but the improbable. And I think if they do but actually go for the Europa League next year, they could probably get out of the group stages. You never know. People don't take the Europa League all that seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
They might do something. And then you would think that they should pick up enough points in the first half of the season to be around mid-table, lower mid-table maybe. And then if they get knocked out of the Europa League in February, they can concentrate on Serie A. They should be able to stay up, shouldn't they?
I think Serie A seems pretty safe, but you've mentioned some of the people that have gone and might be going. For you, they've already lost, obviously, halfway through the season, Gagliardini, and they managed to, completely surprised me. They managed to just go on completely without him. Now Frank Kessie's gone. There's that midfield. But who would be the hardest for you in terms of that team? Because we spoke a lot about that team working together. Who's the most crucial element that possibly would be leaving?
There's three, and they kind of feed in together. Yeah. It's Alejandro Papu Gomez, obviously. Leonardo Spinazzola and Andrea Conti. Conti's gone. But they've got, I don't know his first name, I think it's Hans Hateboer, who came in at the end of last season and did quite well when he played. He's ready to take Conti's position. He's not of the same calibre as Conti, but there's potential for him to be quite an important player next year. And then Spinazzola and Gomez kind of link into each other because they really feed off each other. One is as good as he is because of the other.
Yeah. Whenever
they go forward, they're very much a duo in attack on the left. But yeah, Gomez is, for a club of Atalanta stature, he's irreplaceable. Because I've been saying this deliberately not on the record, but I don't understand why he is at a club the size of Atalanta. He's so much better. He is. That's why
he's a talent.
Me and you were speaking. He's been linked with Lazio in recent weeks. I don't understand why he would go to Lazio. He'd get a pay rise, but he's still only playing in Europa League. If he is to leave Atalanta, it has to be for a Champions League club. He's good enough. I saw AC Milan today or yesterday are apparently going to ask Atalanta in the negotiations for Andrea Conti to sign Papa Gomez as well. I think Atalanta, if there's one player that Atalanta need to keep this summer, it's Gomez. But I think he's a bit torn himself.
Yeah.
Because during the season he came out and he said, if we're in Europe next year, there's no way I'm leaving. But then towards the end of the season, when it looked like they were getting Europe, it was like, if a big club comes in, I can't not consider it. But he's gone very quiet recently. I think there are offers there. But I think he probably wants to continue this journey as well because he's got some very close friends. Him and Andrea Petagna are, as you see on social media, best friends.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a decision he will take with a heavy heart if he was to leave.
So is it fair to say that AC Milan could be enjoying some more supporters from Bergamo next season?
Absolutely.
Given that half the team's going to be there? No, but seriously, the money is obviously, hopefully, going to be coming in from any players that are going. Should it all be, or will it all be reinvested in some players to try and somewhat keep that level of performance?
Well, I've seen them linked with two players that have really grabbed my attention. The first was Duvan Zapata, Napoli on loan at Udinese. I think he might be going back to Naples this summer. But Napoli apparently want 25 million for him, which is crazy when I wouldn't pay half of that, especially with Andrea Petagna there. And Andreas Cornelius has come in for Copenhagen, who's apparently quite an exciting player. He's a Danish international. I think he's got a goal rate of about 1 in 3 games, which is quite good. But then other than that, I saw Emanuele Giaccherini from Napoli as well, who will be a fantastic signing for a club, a mid-table club.
Yeah.
They need someone with a real engine if they're going to be playing Europa League and Serie A, as we mentioned, and I think he'd be perfect. But they don't always reinvest it so obviously. We've seen in the past that midfield position, the players that have coming on there kind of epitomise what Atalanta do best, and that's Jack Bonaventura has left, Davide Zappacosta has left, Daniele Baselli has left, and Roberto Gagliardini and Efrain Kessie. But they always replace them with the next in line. And Filippo Malagoni is coming up at the moment. He made a Serie A debut last season with Alessandro Bastoni in defence as well. They've come through together since they were about 6 years old at Atalanta, and they look like they're the next in line to just step in. And under Gasparini, it's hard not to trust that he will know what to do with Malagoni and such. But Remo Freuler is great. I'm surprised he's not been linked with more moves away.
Yeah, true.
But with Freuler and Malagoni or whoever plays there next season, hopefully Giaccherini comes in, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I would imagine they will reinvest some of the money. I know the Frank Kessie money isn't actually arriving for another 2 years. But that's probably a good way to do it because they're going to get a lot of money in this summer.
100%.
So they might as well space it out so they know they're secure for the years to come.
For sure. Well, I think that's probably enough Atalanta for now. Let us know is Atalanta just a one-hit wonder this season, or can they back it up? Can they compete in Europe, and how will they go in Serie A? Will they avoid relegation, which is
But just
a big one.
one of the things is, every year if you avoid relegation, you're likely to avoid it again the next year because there's 3 teams coming up. So we've got Spal, Benevento, and Hellas Verona. You've got to imagine that Spal and Benevento will struggle.
Don't underestimate Benevento.
As much as we like Crotone, you would imagine they will struggle again next year. And there's a lot of teams down at that end of Serie A that will struggle. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll stay on. Confident.
Think positive. Well, let us know what you think, as always. If there's any other teams you'd like us to discuss, of course, over the off-season, we'd be happy to do it. So comment below, let us know. As always, subscribe to the channel, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/Forza Italian Football. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everything else that we have. Otherwise, until next time, it's ciao for now. Atalanta have come off...
I was showing you my shirt. It's like a Scapirlo on it. You spoke about him.
Atalanta...